Well, it is 8:30. We'll call the meeting of the Metro County Board of Supervisors to order. We have an agenda before us. Ask if there's any changes, corrections. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the agenda for September 11th. Roll call vote. Or, excuse me, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Mr. Chairman, can I just read something real quick I got this morning?
Yes, sir.
I wanted to take this opportunity to commend the St. Ansgar community and surrounding area on their response to a missing child situation on September 10th, 2012. Shortly after 09:30, numerous agencies and community members responded to a local preschool with regard to a child that was missing. I arrived shortly before 10:30 just as the child had been located. At that time, I was able to observe the response that had been put in place. Multiple local, county, and state law enforcement agencies, fire rescue, emergency management, and the local school and private community members had been assembled, and search efforts were being coordinated and executed in an excellent manner. A unified incident command had been quickly established, and all were working well together. The response speaks highly of the preparation that your local agencies have done to be able to respond to such incidents. Your community should feel safe in the knowledge that our public safety officials are prepared and are able to provide a quick and professional response to emergency situations. This is from Lieutenant Daniel Schaefer of the District Commander, Iowa State Patrol District 8, Mason City.
Thank you. Yeah, they had a missing child up there. Do you know where they found it?
Closet.
Hiding in a closet. Okay, we'll go on to item number 2, County Attorney General discussion.
Did I leave that contract over for you last week or not?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. That's just to approve that contract with Mark Ross over at Carpenter Lagoon. I'll bring it back over at 2 o'clock for you to sign.
So we just need to approve it.
Yep.
Sign it. I'll make a motion to approve signing the contract with Mark Ross.
Second.
I got a motion and a second to approve the contract with North Iowa Inspections, Mark Ross. Roll call vote, Volklander?
Aye.
Clark?
Aye.
Morrell? Aye. Motion carried. Anything else, Mark?
I don't have anything else.
Okay, number 3 is Valent project update and change order for POPs, cleaning of the fill area. Tom Madden here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How you guys doing today?
Great.
Early, come on. I'll hammer you if you change order then. There you go. Like we talked about, they dug out a fairly substantial area. It was just shy of 100 by 100, and some areas was about 12 feet deep. So, what you got in front of you is the original quote that we had gotten from POPs, and then the last page is a line-by-line itemization of the work that was done to clean that stuff out. Now, we had a guy on site basically the whole time, and that's the time they had into it. They had their standard hourly rates on there, and we didn't see anything that was out of the ordinary. Add it all up, though, and it turns out to be a reasonably large number, but again, 100 by almost 100, and some areas about 12 feet deep, so there's quite a bit of stuff done.
Yeah, that's why I never bury anything.
It always comes back to get you.
Have it hauled out.
Yes.
Have it hauled out.
But the site is done. It's complete. It looks good. Mayor's out there this morning starting to dig foundations for the tanks. We're pretty much done with any of the weird stuff.
So you need a motion to approve.
Yeah. And then you guys have all the originals, so I need you to scooch them over to Bob when you're done perusing them. He can sign the middle part of all 3 of them there at the bottom.
This one here.
Yeah.
So
I'll second. Total was 68,968.99, right?
Yeah, no, that's it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the Valent project update and change order for POPs, cleaning out the fill area.
what was the amount on that?
68,000.
That's the total. The change amount is
$968.99.
yeah. The change amount is 25,000. $717.49.
25,717.49. Roll call vote, Watt.
Aye.
Volklander.
Aye.
Morel, aye. Motion
Okay, one more thing for you guys, if you don't mind. This is a utility accommodation permit for Mr. Brumm. We're running water main out there. It's on the county right away, so it needs a county right away thing. There's a $1,000 fee in here. If I was rich, I'd stick it to you, so you guys can negotiate that. That just needs a signature on the bottom, and then the whole packet can be given to Rich, with or without a check. He might fight you on it, I don't know.
So we need a motion on that too?
I would
I'll
probably
move that we, what was it, again, what we're doing?
utility accommodation for water main.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve doing the water utility accommodation for our water main.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to allow the chair to sign and approve the, what do you call it?
Utility accommodation.
Utility accommodation. Roll call vote, Volklander.
Aye.
Walk.
Aye.
Morel. Aye. Motion carried.
That needs
Yep.
a date, a name, the county board of supervisors, and your signature. And I can leave that with Lowell if you want to give it to Rich. That's all we gotta do. As I mentioned, they're working on the tanks. I'll be back again, I think, every week now to keep updating you folks, okay? And keep you up to speed on what's going on.
And Gally, you're supposed to be in under here real quick.
Was that? Oh,
Yeah,
for
for the
insurance?
Builder's risk.
the good deal.
Before we start going this way, not so important with the digging, but
Right. It'll be about 3 weeks before they start going vertical.
be November about when they're done.
End of November. That is correct. Alright, I'll do that to Wolf. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah,
Any
thank you,
questions
Tom.
on your part? Okay.
No, it looks like you're making quite a bit of progress out there.
Yeah, we're starting to.
Frameworks is starting to look like something anyway.
Yeah, they're going up to town up there too. We're going to town. I mean, it's
Are
business
you
now.
right on schedule or a little ahead or?
Oh, I think I'm right on schedule. In my mind, maybe I'm a little bit ahead yet, but I'm just gonna say we're on schedule. Good hit, Rich. Appreciate it all. All right, guys. We'll see you in a week. Thank you much.
Thanks a lot,
You
Tom.
take care.
Moving right along here to item number 4, hospital update from Administrator Kevin Runolfson. Did I get that right?
Yep. Thank you.
I didn't mean to beat it up too bad.
Great.
Runolfson.
I'll try not to take 15 minutes. I just have a few things that I think everyone will be find of interest. One thing I'm quite excited about is this week we're in the transition phase to move from the first phase of our ER and OR remodel into our second phase, and so we'll have the fire marshal here in the next couple days to say we're okay to go, and then we'll move all the equipment into the new operating room that we built, and then close the other side of the operating room and close down part of the ER to begin building the new patient rooms. That will in no way affect our ability to provide great care in our ER. It won't affect any of the rooms that we're operating now. We'll just use some other space that will become the new emergency room, patient rooms. So that will be good. We're on track to finish the whole project or beginning of April, which is what we set out to do. And so this phase will take a bit longer, probably through beginning of January. But as you drive by, you'll see we have all the new concrete poured for the new ambulance bay. All the lights are back up on the outside, and we've opened the new remodeled emergency room waiting room, which is very nice. So that's good. We have some recruitment going on. You may or may not know that Alan Streeter, the CFO, resigned, and his last day was last Tuesday. He had an opportunity to for a new position over in Beatrice, Nebraska, just south of Lincoln. So we're in the process of recruiting to replace him. A lot of great candidates in the process of doing screening interviews, and no doubt I think we'll have some great candidates come in. And I just publicly wanted to thank Alan for the work he did as the CFO. That the hospital and health center is able to do the complete remodel without having to accrue any more debt on the facility, and that's through his good oversight of the financial management of the hospital. And also, we obviously benefit a little bit from the tax portions that we receive from the county, and that helps us to do these things so that the citizens of Mitchell County can have a good facility, so they can stay here in the county to receive as many of the services as they need. So I appreciate him and wish him well. Like I said, we're getting some great candidates, people who have great experience and could contribute a lot to the county. We're moving into a unique time in healthcare with all the healthcare reform going on, and the way we are paid will change significantly, and we need someone strong financial background. So as we look for that, we'll definitely want to find the best people we can. So, unfortunately, we had one of our non-physician providers resign. Hannah Zadny is going to be getting married at the end of the year, and she's moving to Hampton to be with her fiance and soon-to-be husband. So her last day is Friday, and that's the bad news. On the good news, we've had several applicants, and all of them are from within the county, which is something that we expected this to be a real challenge to fill, and now our challenge is to decide which of the candidates to choose. So that's a good problem for us to have, and the citizens of the county will benefit from that. And it's great because, like I said, there are people that live in the county and who want to practice in the county, and people will know. So it's always good to have that. We still continue to look for a position. That's a bit of a challenge, but we'll continue to work on that. Some events that we have going on. We have the Children's Health Fair on the 13th, and we look forward to serving the kids that will come from the elementary schools and take part in those events. I know we have several bicycle helmets in the conference room next to my office that we'll give out that folks have donated, and so a lot of good stuff will happen there. And then our foundation is doing a fundraiser, a lucky duck race. Don't know, as far as I understand, I think we have 36 ducks left for purchase, and the first place winner of what they'll do is put them in the river and send them down the river, and the first place winner will receive $500. I think it's $250 for the second place winner, $150 for the third place winner. So the community has been very good to support us. The foundation uses those funds for scholarships for high school students who are pursuing healthcare careers. And kind of on a side note, Chuck Laris brought me a list yesterday of 8 or 9 folks from the county who are off in medical school, and I appreciate him doing that. I can touch base with them and talk to them about what their future plans are once they finish medical school and their residency and fellowship training, and if this is a place that they would come back to, and what we can do to help facilitate that. That'd be important, because usually if we can bring people back who are from the area, they're more likely to stay than people who aren't from the area. And as you know, when you start to receive care and an established relationship with a provider and then they move on, it just takes time to get things the way they need to be. So,
Your candidates for recruitment for replacing Hannah, what gender? Man or woman?
both.
Both.
Yeah. Very,
I hope that you have a woman up there. It's nice to have a woman provider.
we're cognizant of that. However, we have to be careful. We can't discriminate based on.
I know that, but I'm just telling you that a lot of women
Yeah.
feel the same way.
Yeah, definitely so. And then last couple things, we'll be starting our strategic planning process with the board, members of the community, our staff, our providers. And as part of that, we're required every 3 years by the federal government, because we are a 501c3 facility, also to complete a community needs assessment. And the county health department completes one of those every 5 years. So we'll work in unison with them to do that, and keep moving on the initiatives that are going there, and maybe add a few more, knowing what we know about healthcare reform that's coming. And then lastly, as you're all aware, we'll have the board elections coming up. Recently, Pat Rorick resigned, and we appointed John Koster from St. Ansgar to fill his position. And John's position, he will be in that position just till the end of this term. So he is filling that until the election, and we have 5 candidates. I've learned 5 candidates that are have submitted their petition for the board. So John Coster has resubmitted his petition. Jan Moody, who is an incumbent, has submitted her petition. I understand, Betty, you have submitted your petition. And then Frank Arciniega and Terry Tesh. So those will be the 5 folks who will be running for the board. All right, that's information I wanted to share with you today. I appreciate you letting me come and do this. Appreciate everyone's support for the health center. We're very fortunate to have it, and we have great people there who really care about the folks here in the county and want to provide great service and great care.
I'm new in town. I went up there yesterday, I've got a little problem. I was really surprised with the speed at which they did things yesterday.
They do a great, the registration staff and all the folks who take care of the patients, they're really committed and want to do a great job.
I was amazed.
Appreciate that, that's good to know.
Thank you, Kevin, we appreciate you coming.
Well, I have a couple of questions if you
Stan,
can.
Okay.
I've been outdoor knocking.
Okay.
I'm running for re-election. A couple of the concerns seems to be with the tying on ambulance.
Okay.
And wondering if we can get that addressed to where we have a shorter time period, because like I say, more than one person has brought it up to me, and of course, I have nothing to do with that, but yet again, I feel I should relay the...
Yeah. And I get calls related to that, and I appreciate that feedback. In fact, many people in the community call me with those. I think as I do research, there's, based on the distance, I think the calls that I checked on, I'm not saying that there are issues that we can't address, but the issues that I've looked at specifically, they have been out in a timely manner, and I think we need to just try and work with the first responders up north and the folks out in Riceville and talk about how we can do better. I agree.
I mean, are most of the ambulance drivers actually stationed out of the hospital, or are they at home and have to come in, or?
Most of our ambulance staff is volunteer. And so they're not stationed at the garage. And we have 2 people full-time that alternate shifts, Kevin and Matt, and they are on 24/7. So they're typically available right away, but everybody else, I think they're required to have a response time of 10 minutes or less to the garage to get out the door. So sometimes that means that as the ambulance heads north to St. Ansgar, they pick someone up at 7th Street on the corner, as that person's at home or they're, we're really quite lucky to have the committee crew that we do, but it's a lot of ground to cover, and we're working to get more people. I know that our staff is trying to collaborate more with the people in Riceville to figure out how we can provide better coverage to us.
Well, the other thing I have is that basically the Board of Supervisors, we have an agenda put out. Lowell sends this out normally on Friday as an attachment by email, and previous administrator felt that, or for whatever reason, it was impossible to do that. I don't know why it was impossible. I would like to be able to be on a mailing list that, and I think there's others in the community that, how many do we have on our mailing list? Well, probably 50 or?
Not that many, it's probably around 25.
But,
Shouldn't that be published?
well, that's a public.
Should be published.
Well, when you only got a paper that's once a week, it's pretty hard to, when the agenda isn't You have to have it out.
Anybody that's interested in the
A week
agenda?
ahead of time.
Here's my email address if you.
Yeah, I think I have that. But I'm happy to, whoever would like a copy of that, to have that, I don't have a problem with that.
I'd like to say amen to Stan's because I have asked to be, but I haven't received one in the last 2 months until I went in to get it myself. I've had to go in and ask Laura
Okay.
myself.
I apologize for that, I have
Yeah.
asked that those be sent to you, because I know you
Okay,
like them.
thank you.
Yeah, just let me know.
That's all I had.
Okay, thanks.
I appreciate you coming in and great service, and hopefully we can keep on a periodic basis, so.
Happy to do it, I'd like to be excused if that would be okay.
You bet. Thank you, Thanks, everyone. City County Engineers here, Rich.
Morning. We're gonna get some heat and then we're gonna cool down, huh?
Yeah, it's supposed to warm up good today again.
Did you get that application back? I gave it to Barb yesterday. She wanted to copy it.
No, I didn't get it back.
I'll
She was
talk to
looking
her.
at it.
Okay. I got, last week we agreed on those approaches for 218. There's a contract you guys need to sign so that the DOT can get going on that. It's an agreement that says that we are going to maintain those intersections and whatnot. And we'll do it for that. They've got an estimated cost in there was $17,000. We won't know what the costs are until they get done.
So moved.
Second.
Have your resolution for Mona when you get done with that.
I have a motion and a second to approve signing, approval of the chair signing the Iowa DOT pre-construction agreement for the 218 approaches south of the 4 Mile Corner. Roll call vote, Walk.
Aye.
Hoaglander.
Aye.
Merrill, aye. Motion
All right. Last week we discussed speed limit in Mona. We've got a resolution to put up 3 speed limit signs. One on the north entrance off of 218, one on the west side. It's 200 feet west of the intersection of Echo, and then 200 feet south of the intersection of 497.
And that's 25 miles.
25 miles an hour, yes. I see a typo, but there's 2 E's in Echo.
Well, it should be reached by.
It's a reverberation, it's an echo. Right, thank you.
There's 2 E's in echo.
Can you see that?
That's the same wording as on my map here.
There's 2, wow. There's 2 E's, one in the beginning, there's 2 in the beginning.
You have a small E and a large.
A small E and a large E.
That's the last paragraph.
Oh.
Maybe if I wouldn't have showed it to you, you wouldn't have seen it.
Oh, I see it now, all right.
Second the resolution.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the resolution for speed limit change in Mona. Voigtlander.
Aye.
Roll call vote, Voigtlander.
Aye.
Walk.
Aye.
Morrell, aye. Motion
Alright. Rock run is done. We've got a few spots there, spot rocking yet. Not too many things going on with that anymore. The guys today are out on the Porter Road, that one over by New Haven. They're patching that. There's some weak spots in the road again. That's the one that goes from New Haven north to number 9. The one we pulled out of the program last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Walnut.
Yeah.
And they're doing some core outs and trying to get some structure back in it. So they're working on that today. The timber bridge is open. That was open last week. Next week, there's a 72-inch pipe underneath Addison over in this location on Addison. It's starting to collapse. We thought we needed to get it replaced. The guys are gonna do it next week. We're gonna detour them up on Whisper. It'll be about a day and a half of a detour, but we'll dust control that. Probably put up a temporary stop sign on Whisper so that traffic stops instead of running around. I don't foresee we're gonna probably get a whole lot of traffic on it, but for a day and a half, we'll make sure we can get it around. Grout Scouts are in there doing some pipelining again, trying to straighten up some of our culverts again. So they've been in for the last couple of weeks, but
Who they were?
Grout Scouts, we hired them, yeah.
Okay.
They do a lot of our, instead of digging up the road, they can inject grout underneath the pavement if it's seeping in. They can grout joints on our concrete pipes. If we've got a pipe that's collapsing, a corrugated metal pipe that collapses, they can line it. They'll line it and fill in the void with grout. And that does two things. One, we get a better water profile. We can, if it's a 72-inch pipe and it's not deformed too much, they can put a similar sized liner in it, and we can do that. We can put a smaller liner in it based on the fact that the flow characteristics of that liner are smooth compared to a corrugated pipe. So we really don't diminish the capacity of the pipe at all. It gets to a certain point where we don't want to do it anymore because we would restrict it too much. So, but they're out doing some, we did some pipe extensions. They're going to grout and line some more pipe. They probably got another week or so. We have them looking at the bridge north of St. Ansgar on 105, the Turtle Creek Bridge just out of town there. There's a little dip in the approach there. We're having them look at possibly jacking that approach because there is a dip right before you get to it. And then the one over by Carpenter, that bridge too, we're looking at the cost between mud jacking it and putting an asphalt overlay in there. The thing about the mud jacking is if there's a void underneath the road, the mud jacking will fill the void. If we overlay it, the void might still be there, it might still settle. So we might just opt to go with the mud jacking and get that level back up.
What's it cost the mud jack?
It just depends on what the materials cost. They've got an hourly rate. I don't remember what that is. They got an hourly rate. We pay for the material. So we did. I really don't remember what Stacyville cost. We did Stacyville here 2 years ago. I think we mud jacked the approaches on both sides of that. It's more of a permanent fix. I mean, like I said, if there's a void underneath there, it'll take care of it. And it actually mixes. It isn't that the grout fills the void. It actually mixes grout with the soil. So it fills the voids in the soil, but it also mixes the soil and the grout together. So it's not just a concrete chunk. It's a.
Don't they drill a hole through?
They drill a. I don't know if it's a two-inch hole. They stick a pipe into there, and they stick it far enough into the soil that they actually fill the soil with that stuff too. So the soil expands along with everything else. And then when they get done, the grout will fill the hole up, and
It'll actually lift the concrete.
yes, it will. So we're looking at getting those done. When we get to Mona, we'll get the mowers out in that area this week. We'll get those weeds knocked down on that. I can't remember what the name of that road was now. That little angle road, and then we'll get the blade out there after the grass is down. We'll knock it down and get it squared away. Once the guys get done there on the Porter Road, we've got a lot of signs that need straightening, so we'll get a few of those guys out there straightening up signs. The signs haven't come in yet for the industrial park yet, or the Riverside Park in Statesville, but when they get in, we'll get them up. Everything's been located. So we've got the mower out, brush cutter out, regular maintenance. So, that's about all I've got. I'm gonna probably be gone the rest of this week. I'm gonna hunt some walleyes again. So
I see you got some signs up on the Cedar Road, Primrose there by that bridge.
yep.
They seem like they're awful close to the bridge.
Should we?
I think we should give them a little more lead time on the fact that there's a dip there.
Wonder if.
It looks like they're about 50 feet from the bridge.
Yeah, there's no true set. I know that some places will say dip ahead, and then they'll put the signs right at the dip. Or some people will put the dip signs there. We could put some advanced
I don't know
signing up.
if that's where they belong, that's fine.
Well, that's kind of where they're at. I understand what you're saying though
I thought
too.
it was just a little
I've seen them with the dip sign with an arrow.
Yeah,
Right there, yeah, right on the.
and then the
right
county
on
engineer stands next to it, right? And then somebody takes a picture.
Are you doing anything on the shoulders yet this fall?
We got that scheduled to, we gotta get
Okay,
back.
'cause
We're gonna,
I noticed on Monument the other day.
I told Merlin about
There's
that
quite a
here a couple
drop
weeks
off
ago,
out
that
there.
we've gotta get that straightened
I
back
don't know
up.
if we could rake them back up, or?
I don't know if we're gonna rake it up. It seems like we keep raking it up. I think we need to add more material. I think it's actually starting to compact. And, we've got a lot of them to go back through. Merlin's got that scheduled to do kinda later this fall yet, so.
Went up to Johnsburg Sunday and I noticed that.
How was the meal?
Wonderful.
The
Did you
dishwashing
miss
was
out
a
on
lot
it?
easier this year.
Did you miss out on it?
What's that?
Did you miss that?
I didn't get to eat it, but I cleaned everybody's plates, or at least the last half, so.
That was wonderful. That was a very good dinner. Okay, I guess that's all.
Do you have anything else?
I was at a council of governments meeting last night in Clear Lake, and a fellow from Mason City jumped on me because he said, I went up to Rochester a week ago, and he said, on T26, speed limit goes from 55 to 25 there at St. Ansgar, which it always has. I mean, there's no.
Yeah.
And,
Is that on the south side coming into town?
yeah. And he said, what are you trying to do, run a speed trap or that, so they nail them? And I said, well, hell, we never write any tickets.
I wasn't gonna go any further, but.
But in any event, he mentioned it, and I, you know.
Well.
So I don't know if we want to further output of, you know.
I can't remember how far, that
40
speed,
or-
that speed limit sign's right, not far south of that intersection that goes to is it 8th or 7th, or what is that?
8th Street.
8th Street.
Yeah, it's right there at 8th Street.
Yeah, it's not too far
I
off
mean,
there.
it goes from a 55 right to a 25, boom.
It's, you know,
But like I say, we've never had anybody
Well, and that's
complain,
just
but
it.
I just want to let you know he
Okay.
caught it, and
See, we must be doing some tiling in the claims.
we have, well,
That's
whether
it.
we're tiling, there's tile crossings we have to pay for.
Okay.
Whenever anybody needs to,
Tile and go across the road.
when it goes through the right of way, the county is responsible for the
I just
payment in the
haven't
right of
seen
way.
it.
Yep,
Just curious.
we get them every year. And it's only if it's it has to be tile to tile. It can't be just a tile and outlet on the other side. So.
Right.
Because if they already have an outlet, they already have an outlet. Now they're trying to better the system, so. There's a little bit of jargon in there, but when it goes through the right of way perpendicular, we maintain that, we take care of it. A lot of times they're boring it, so it's a little bit more spendy. There should, was there 2 of them in the
Yeah.
claims? Yep.
I see that.
Anything else for Rich? Hey, thanks, Rich.
Okay, have a good week.
Thank you.
Let's go.
We have a number 8, abatement of taxes here. We have 1, 2, 3 different ones.
Now we got 2.
Well, the one yet from last
Oh.
week,
Last week.
285.
4750, 336.
86 and 87 are county parcels
412.
conservation has.
I'm gonna make a motion that we abate the taxes on all 3 parcels.
second?
Motion and second to abate the taxes on all 3 parcels. The roll call vote. Oaklander,
Aye.
Walk,
Thank.
Morrell, aye. Motion carried. Okay, we go back up to the minutes. Need a minute to look them over.
Actually, I was gonna ask Richie, and I forgot it right at the end, if he wanted to come back this afternoon to hear that watershed presentation. I actually think that would be good for him too,
Yeah, we'll give him a call.
Yeah.
Meeting.
so don't want to forget that. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes of September 4th, 2012. Roll call vote. Block.
Aye.
Oaklander.
Aye.
Burrell. Aye. Motion carried. Items of note. Ended.
Went down to the Heartland Risk Insurance Pools September 6th, their employment practices seminar. I thought it was a pretty good seminar, you know, as they usually go. I thought it was probably, in the last 3 years, this has probably been the best year. Had a very good,
Can I interrupt for just a minute? We had an alarm coming from here.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Nobody's button got pushed today.
Okay, I went through dispatch, so we thought maybe somebody had, there was a problem, so.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for coming over.
We're good.
Anyway, we had a motivational speaker, a guy by the name of Richard Kim Wilson, who was very good. I mean, and he, you know, kept it really going well. Chuck Goodman gave safety in the workplace. You know, what's wrong with this picture? Then he had a whole bunch of these, you know, signs, you know, that says, well, I don't know if I got it all right, but something about swimming, sharks or something, and no lifeguard on duty, swim at your own risk. Now what are you supposed to do there? You know, or it's something like that. I mean, it's just comical types of workplace safety signs, and, you know, and he gave a good presentation. And then Carl he talked about the challenges of 28Es entities, and you know how many 28Es there are in the state of Iowa?
1,000.
16,000. What is that? 16,000. Last count. And he says that was originated in, I think he said 1966, and he says that law has been changed over the years, and he says it's always a good idea possibly to have your 28Es updated. So anyway, that was, then they talked about open records, open emails, updating harassment policies, and employee drug testing in Iowa. And they had a pretty large handout, and I haven't had time to go through looking at that yet. But that was pretty much our meeting down there. It was, like I said, it was a all-day affair, and that was it.
I had Council of Governments last night, and one of the big problems that was pointed out has to do with our rural transit system. We were fortunate here a couple of years ago, under the stimulus money, 25% of our buses got replaced, so we're in good shape. The only problem is now the program that we used to get money for buses, that was a federal earmark, and so all federal earmarks have disappeared, and the new program is what they call State of Good Repair Project. This last year, 3 COGs run transits, and of the 3 transits, none of us got any new buses. The only one that got anything at all was Ames. They were a town of over 50,000, so they could apply direct, and I think they got 1 bus. And it appears in the future under this program that it's going to be difficult to get new buses, which could make quite a handicap for our rural residents needing rural transit. So that's something to keep in mind. One of the other things that we went through is, of course, everybody's always concerned about do you have enough liability coverage? We've gone through that. And so as a COG, we took a look at it. And for general liability, in Iowa, 128 cities have $1 million of coverage. 281 have 2 million, 57 have 3 million, 34 have 4 million, and that's where Mitchell County fits in on the 4 million. Did I say 34 under 4 million? Then there's 54 under 5 million, 29 under 6. 7 have 7 million, 8 have 8 million, 16 have 10 million, 11 have 12 million, and 1 has 15 million. The median average is, of course, at 2 million. And we as a COG decided to stay with the 2 million. For the same reason, basically, we feel that if there was a problem, we haven't had a problem in 40 years driving transit and that, but if there was a problem, they're going to sue for the amount of our insurance and that's it. And so, in any event, that was a decision made there. There's some reallocation of some of the housings again that I know Brenda's been made aware of, some of the builders around here have been made aware of, so there'll be at least 10 more housing reallocations available. And those have to be filed here, I believe, the 11th or 12th of October. And other than that...
what's the cost for a NICOG bus?
I don't remember what the cost right offhand is. Part of the problem that we've really had was we can get better buses with a Mitsubishi engine, and because over 25% of it comes from foreign whatever, we can't use our tax money to buy them. It has much better gas mileage than that, but we're not allowed to buy those buses. But we were able to finagle, because we could buy used buses. Somebody else had some of those 1 year old and they were willing to sell them, and so we finagled some of that. But like I
This
say,
COG has how many buses, do you think?
COG itself has 90.
90 buses?
Yeah, I mean, which
How many
Mitchell
do
County
you-
is part of
how
them.
many do they usually normally change out every year,
Um,
do you think? I mean, I'm just
Yeah,
curious.
no, according to the mileage, we should be getting rid of 25% of them every 4 years. We've been actually going about 10 to 12 years.
And these buses were all earmarked. They were federally funded, and
They've been federally, yeah, through a state
the
program.
COG has not had to come up with any funds on their own.
Yeah.
Well, they must put on a lot of miles since they're driving to Iowa City now twice a week.
And they go also to Fort Dodge with some patients. And I think we're really fortunate. We're only paying $8.50 an hour for bus drivers there.
Wow.
In order to get, like I say, to have those people driving in.
And what do we give to the COG every year? It's per capita, right?
50 cents.
It just went up
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
Yeah.
So there could be big changes on the horizon on that.
Yeah.
You'll keep us posted.
Is that it, Stan?
That's it.
Had a wellness meeting last Tuesday afternoon. Basically went over the budgets. Health insurance benefit presentation. There were enough participants in the program. So the wellness, we met the 4% adjustment on this year's health insurance costs, so it lowered at $23,832. So the program is well worthwhile. The first program of this year was called Unwrapped. 24 employees signed up, 24 returned their tracking forms, and $600 of chamber bucks was paid out. We have the brand new U program. We're just in week 7 of that. That was that one. And we had the Board of Health last Thursday. Went over the budgets, of course. Revenue's up, expenses are down. It's just early in the year. Going to start the flu clinics here coming soon. I guess I think they've already maybe
Yeah, they already had one.
They already had one already, I think.
A week ago or so.
The year-end report and survey. There's a booklet here that gives the county health rankings for the whole state if anybody's interested in looking at that. On the visit reports, the visits, the numbers are down a little bit, but the complexity of the visits is greater. It varies from patient to patient on different types of surgeries and things. Last night I had FMC, Early Childhood Iowa area meeting in Charles City. Basically reviewing the state reports, the financial reports for School Ready, Early Childhood, and the administrative summary portion of that. Kind of got caught in a catch-22 there. Our carryover in School Ready was greater than expected because some of them shut down and the money came back. So we'll be penalized in 2014 by $14,000 they'll take away from us. But there's just nothing you could do about it. Just the way it happened. We came in at 19%, and then when things collapsed and money was sent back, it boosted it up to 24%. So there's just no way to juggle it to make it any different. The re-election of executive officers for next year. Virgil Picard will be the chair, I'll be vice chair. And had board action to accept the 2012 annual report documents, and they will be presented to the state this Friday. Those are my 3. Clerk of Court report for August. $2,414.36. You want to take a little recess and we'll look at the claims?
Sure.
While you're doing that, I'd like to ask Joel a question because I see that this one item on the agenda was skipped over, but yesterday a number of us came for the tour, and all I was told is there wasn't going to be one, and what is the status and why isn't there one? I understand Jim Cross asked yesterday, Joel, for you to have, you said Mark said, that to have him explain why there wasn't going to be.
All I can say is no comment.
Well, why is everything so secretive when it's in the
Run
newspaper?
over and talk to Mark. He's over.
Well, he doesn't answer questions from the public.
Well, he's the one that made the decision. I just followed what his
I mean, I know Mary Dene
recommendation was,
asked,
and that's all I can say
yeah,
about
I
it.
know Mary said
Do you
at
have anything
the
else to say?
meeting, why are you proceeding, and before the election, and then all at once all this, and now,
Just these 2.
Now nothing until after the election. That's all I can say.
Item number 7, approval of the claims.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the claims. Roll call vote, Bob.
Aye.
Volklander?
Aye.
Well, aye. Motion carries. Anything else?
We're just recessed until 2.
Recess till 2.
Recess until 2 o'clock. We meet with Susan Junkins of the Upper Cedar Watershed Management Authority right here in this office.